Greetings and welcome to the fourth installment of our series Overcoming Sin. And today we continue with how to prevent temptation. Yesterday we talked about the importance of not giving the devil audience, not giving him an ear, not giving him your time, not spending any of your valuable resource in engaging in any discussion with him. Today we continue talking about how to prevent, and today we want to dwell on a very important element of temptation. Jesus, when just before the crucifixion, Jesus goes up to pray with his disciples, and he leaves them, he goes up with them, leaves them somewhere, goes further alone to spend time with God the Father. And he comes back and he says to them at some point, you know what? Be vigilant, be alert, lest you enter into temptation. Now, entering into temptation is quite apart from temptation coming to you. So in this particular installment, where we talk about prevention, it is important for us to realize that you need to not enter into temptation. In the next installment, where we talk about how to detect that temptation is coming your way, we will talk about when temptation comes to you. Right now, we're talking about you entering into temptation. And there are many Christians who enter into temptation. Temptation is out there on its own because we know where temptation is, don't we? Temptation is in the nightclubs. Temptation is in the brothels. Temptation is in the bars, alcoholic places. Temptation is in all the places where sin happens. So you can literally, physically enter into temptation. And a lot of us actually do that. And then we want to try and equate our being tempted to the kind of temptation when actually temptation looks for you. So I want to put it to you that you can actually go through temptation because you are doing something right, which we're going to talk about in the next installment. But you can also enter into temptation, you can seek temptation yourself. And Jesus specifically uses that term in that verse in Matthew, that you do not enter into temptation. So ask yourself, whenever you're faced with a challenge, a temptation, ask yourself, is this not something that I have entered into myself? And so, very important as part of resisting or as part of preventing sin, temptation in order to avoid or to overcome sin, do not enter into temptation. So when a thought, remember we exist at spiritual, mental, emotional, and physical levels. When a thought starts to present itself to you, do not entertain it. And do not seek such thoughts. If you spend your time going into pornography, if you spend your time talking to people who you know their language is always skewed in the direction of evil, you are entering into temptation. And so be clear that you shouldn't enter into temptation. For there's a difference between temptation coming your way and you going in the direction of temptation. God bless you.